Hey guys, it's Amy at Zoe Beck, and I'm going to do my Serious About Series TBR for 2023. So this is a project that is run by Elizabeth at Lizzie Faye Loves Books, and she's just trying to encourage people to read your series. And I think it's a really great one. I did it last year in 2022. I will have a wrap up of that in January, because I'm right in the middle of compiling all the information of how many series are on my shelf and what status I'm in, and it's not going well. I knew I had a lot of first books in series. Don't get me wrong. I have a tendency to buy a lot of first books in series. I just have way more than I thought I did. And I didn't realize how many series I was still in the middle of. And my number of completed series on my shelf is not as much as I thought it would. Now I do get rid of some things, so it could be, I definitely finished more than I'm gonna have on that list, but anyway. So what I'm gonna do is, let's go through the prompts first for what is that Elizabeth has put on. Again, I will have her linked down below. For 2023, it's based on trilogies because it's her third year of doing this. So the prompts are kind of aligned to that. You could do any series that you want. It doesn't matter. You can just pick 23 series, or you can pick whatever number you want, really, that you want to focus on. I picked 23 series that are in this list with some of these prompts, as well as some other caveats of things that I want to get to. So one of our first prompt is trilogies you want to start, finish, or read from start to finish. So any kind of trilogy. Number 2 is to read a series that you only have 3 books or less in. So again, I have a couple of those that I will talk about in mine. And then the third one is, in a continuing series, set a goal of reading 3 books or more, or 3 books in that series to make some progress. I have a few of those, I think. And then there's a bonus prompt to pick 3 series you want to start to finish within the year. It doesn't matter what size of things. I could have come up with so many for this bonus one. I don't have anything legitimately that's other than the trilogies that I'm going to talk about that I would like to start and finish. But so I'm going to wait to see what happens by the end of the year if I actually do more series, because there's a lot of duologies that I'd like to get to as well, but I did not pick any of them for this. Most of all these are either trilogies or long-running series that I'm going to talk about that I want to get to. So again, I have 23. The first 10 are trilogies that I want to start and would like to finish within the year. We'll see how that goes. So I'm just going to go through these. I'm not going to say too much about them because there's 23 series here. So the first one I'd like to get to is the Guardians trilogy by Nora Robert. The first one is Stars of Fortune. I think this is more of a paranormal with some people who it has a kind of paranormal element. I think people are trying to save the world from evil. I don't know, but it's like paranormal. So anyway, so I have that trilogy, and I have all 3 books on that on my shelf. I like to get to the Greenbone Saga by Fonda Lee. The first book is Jade City. I have the first 2 books on my shelf. So this is kind of a mafia-inspired fantasy about some families who are fighting over jade, which is a powerful, I don't remember if it's a drug or something that is powerful within that community. And as I said, I've heard so many good things about it. I would like to get to this one. The First Law trilogy by Joe Abercrombie. The first book is The Blade itself. I don't read much grimdark, so this would be like one of the first grimdark books that I would like to attempt. Again, it's one of the classic ones of that. So Becca in the Books is doing, for her catch-up book club, I think is what it's called, is doing the First Law universe kind of thing. So the first book is in January and February. So I would like to join in on that and try to do that book club to get through this series. Again, there are 3 books in the trilogy, and then it kind of continues on. But I would really like to read at least The Blade itself and see if I can get through it. We'll see. But I have the first 3 books. So I have the First Law trilogy I have on my shelf. I like to read the Dagobah. See, I can't say this. I can't say that word. Trilogy by S.A. Jacoporti. The first book is The City of Brass. Yeah, I can't get that word out of my mouth. I don't know how to, that series. Anyway, the point is that I have the first book on my shelf. This is, I think, Egypt kind of inspired fantasy with jinn. And that's about all I know about that. But I've heard really good things about this. I'd like to get to that truly, but I only have that one book on my shelf. I have the Burnt Empire Saga by S.O.K. Banker. So I have the 3 books in this series on my shelf. Upon a Burning Throne is the first one. I think it's India-inspired fantasy with 2, I think they're 2 siblings who are, that have to go through some tests to become the emperor or something like that. So anyway, I'm looking forward to that. And I have all 3 of those on my shelf. Velocity Weapon is the first book in the Protectorate by Megan E. O'Keefe. So I only have the 1 book on my shelf, but this is a space opera where I think a woman is in some kind of battle or something, and then she wakes up 230 years later. So everything has changed. And things are going wrong is what I understand. So I only own the first book of that one. And then Between Earth and Sky by Rebecca Roanhorse. The first book is Black Sun. So I just read her 6th World series. So I really want to pick up another series by her. So I have the first book, Black Sun, on my shelf. So this is pre-Columbian inspired fantasy. So I would like to try to get to that. The 3rd book in this one comes out later this year. I don't own the 2nd book, so I would like to try the first one to see if I want to get more. I have the Winnowing Flame series by Jen Williams. So the first book is The Ninth Reign. This is a fantasy I tried to read in 2022 and I just did not get to it. The one time I picked it up, it wasn't the day for it. And so I haven't picked it up again. This is kind of I would say a science fiction fantasy kind of cross, I think, because of what the creatures are there. There's some kind of phenomenon called the rains and I think the 9th one is supposed to happen. It's supposed to be devastating, and there's a lot of different kind of eternal creatures and other things. I'm not sure, but anyway, it sounds so good. I have all 3 books on my shelf. The Queens of Rhinthia, I think is how it's said, by Sarah Beth Durst. The first book is The Queen of Blood. I have the first book on my series. This is a story. I think it's just about I think each book is about different women who are, that become queen or have something to do with the royalty or something. And I think this one's more like a fantasy or a forced fantasy kind of thing or something. I don't remember how it goes. Anyway, but I've heard really good things about this and it just sounds good. So I only have the first book of that trilogy. And then the last one, I'm not sure is really a trilogy, but there are only 3 books out at this time, and that is The World of the Others by Anne Bishop. This is a follow-up series, or slightly connected to the Others series, which I just adore. It's one of my favorite series of all time. Lake Silence is the first book in that one. I own the first 2. So this is dealing with humans and also with those who are called the Others, which have kind of shapeshifter kind of powers and other kind of things. And this one's, as I said, the 3 books are out. The 3rd one I don't have yet because it's not out in paperback yet. It's only out in hardback. But I figure I want to finally get to the series and at least read that. So I don't think book 3 is the last book, but I don't know. I won't know until I get into it. So, but it's 3 books right now, so I'm counting that as a trilogy. Okay, and then I have 2 books, or 2 series that I need to reread the first. All right, yeah, one of them I have to reread the first book because I don't remember it, and the other one I just kind of want to, but we'll see if that happens. And then continue the series. So these are continuation ones. So the first one is Death Most Definite, or it is part of the Death Works series by Trent Jameson. So I read this when it first came out. Oh, that was a while ago. Looks like 2010. So it was around that time when I read this, and I just never continued because I had to wait for the books. But it's a trilogy and I don't remember the first book very well. It's a man who works for death and he is helping to, get this girl to the, I don't know, he's trying to get her to the underworld, the restless dead to the underworld. I don't know. So, I don't remember. I just remember thinking it was funny and fun. And, I just never, as I said, I didn't continue because I had to wait for books, and, I now have them all. So I want to, read this series. So I have to reread that book to continue on and finish that. And then I would really like to reread Perdido Street Station and continue on in the how's it, Baslag, and what was the other name? New Cruzon, I think something like that is the name of the series. Anyway, I have all 3 books in these really cool editions. I have read Perdido Street Station actually twice before. This would be a 3rd time reading it, but because I liked it so much, or I do love this as a favorite book, that I want to reread it, because it's one of those books that I forget so much stuff that happens, and they're gigantic. It is. I mean, it's 865 pages, but I would really like to reread this and then continue on to the other 2 books that are companion books in this series. I just have never continued on after this book in this series, so I would really like to do that. Okay, so let's see. My stacks are getting precarious. Okay, so then I have 2 books that are not in trilogies, but I have 3 books left to read. So the first one of them is, again, The Custard Protocol by Gail Carriger. I still have not continued on. I reread Prudence earlier in 2022, and I just never got around to picking up the series again. I have 3 books left. They are books that have been on my shelves for a couple years. I don't understand why I just don't pick up this book, but this year I hope to pick up the last 3 books and finish it, because I want to be done with the Custard Protocol series. So these are historical urban fantasies, kind of steampunk, late 1800s, where werewolves and vampires exist in the world, and we are following Prudence and her crew as they are getting involved in a lot of political things in other countries and stuff. The first book was fun and exciting. I really liked it. I'm looking forward to this one. And I just haven't picked it up. Anyway, so I have 3 books left of that one. And then I have 3 books left in the 9 Realms series by Sarah Kozlov. So this is book 2, The Queen of Raiders. So I really enjoyed book 1, and I read it in January of 2022. And then I just never picked up the second one. This one's been sitting on my shelf staring at me all year. And I think I'm hoping this year is the year of epic fantasy, because this last year was not. But I really want to finish this series out this year. I meant to read it all this last year. So anyway, so I have 3 books left in this series. I would like to, because it's a 4-book series, so I would like to finish this one. And this is following a girl who, she starts out as a girl. She is the daughter of the queen, and the queen is going through a lot of stuff politically in her country. And that things happened where they are dealing with that stuff that's happening at home and also abroad in this. And there's a lot of different countries that we get to see as well. And I just don't read the back of the first book. It spoils like half the book. So just look at it as a queen who is trying to make decisions for her country as well as for her and her daughter to survive. And anyway, so this continues on from that book, and I'd like to really get to that. Okay, so those are those books. So we are at what, 14? Okay, so then I have 3 series that are series I want to start that are all longer than 3 books, but they're epic, they're huge. I'd like to at least make progress, like at least start them this year. I would love to read all the books in the series, but I don't think that's possible. I just want to read everything, you guys. Anyway, but these are all gigantic, but they're all ones I've been wanting to read, and I just have not got to them and haven't started them. So these 3, as I said, are ones I would like to read 3 in this year. I would like to read more, but I mean, all of them have 4 or 5 books in the series. So the first one is The Grace of Kings, or the Dandelion Dynasty by Ken Liu. So I have had The Grace of Kings on my shelf for a long time. I have a ebook, I have a paperback, I think I even have the audiobook. I bought these new copies this year, so I kind of am going to force, I want to make sure I read this. So I really, this one is Asian-inspired political fantasy, and I know it starts with some friends who are trying to fight against the emperor and stuff, I think. Anyway, they're just gorgeous. I bought all these covers and I need to read them. So anyway, this is a 4-book series. I own 3 of them right now, but the 4th one is being shipped to me as soon as it releases. So I will have all 4 of those on my shelf. So I would like to read at least the first one, and I'd love to read the whole series this year, but we will see. The other series that I'd like to start this year is the Stormlight Archives by Brandon Sanderson. Sorry, my phone is doing weird things. Sorry. Brandon Sanderson. So this is I have them in the 2 book bind-ups just because I didn't want the really big paperbacks or hardbacks. I had mass market size and I just didn't want to read those. But anyway, so The Way of Kings again is the first book in Stormlight Archives, which is his really big epic fantasy series. I don't know anything about it because I've tried to not listen because I want to go into them and just enjoy them. So there are 4 books out so far. The 5th one is scheduled to be 2024 or 25. I don't know. I keep hearing different numbers. But anyway, I figure that in 2023, if at least I read 1 or 2 of them, then I'm on track. So when the 5th one is out, I'll be ready for it. We'll see what happens. Anyway, I would like to at least get to The Way of Kings and maybe the next one, but we'll see. So that again is another epic one. And the other one I'd like to get to is the Ruin of Kings or the Chorus of Dragons series by Jen Lyons. I've heard really good things about this one and weird things about it. So, and again, because I like weird fiction, I'm thinking this might be a good one for me. I'm not sure because we're following a guy who he's telling his story, but then somebody else is also saying, no, that's not how it went. This is, you have to go farther back and tell this story, part of the story too. So it kind of has a different style. Really looking forward to reading this. And I think he's supposed to be, he's not the savior. He's the one who's going to ruin everything. I'm not sure how that goes. Anyway, there are 5 books out in this series. I have this one in the 2nd book. So I'd really like to get to this, at least get the 2 on my shelf and make a decision, because I hear the 2nd book can be kind of rough after this one. And then the 3rd book is supposed to be really good, but I don't want to buy it until I've tried these ones. So, again, those are the 3 series that are bigger than 3 books that I would like to at least start this year. So then I have 2 books. I have so many series to continue. Like, as I said, I'm putting my list together. I could have listed dozens in this section. I only picked 2 that I want to focus on, mostly because both of these are series that I meant to be up to date or finish years ago, and I just have not. And I just, so this year, these got to be my 2 priorities. I have 5 books left in both of these series one to be caught up, and then one of them because there's no more books, but I want to read those. So the first one is Terry Pratchett's Discworld. And I have, I believe, 5 books left to read in that series. I'm not counting the Tiffany Aiken books because I have never made it through We Free Men. So if I can get through that, then I will add the Tiffany Aiken 5 books back on my list. But right now, since I can't get through that book, I don't know. We'll try it again sometime. But I want to read the last of the Discworld books that are the other ones. So I have, I believe, 5. And I think I have most of them on my shelf. If I don't have all of them, I have at least 2 or 3 of them. And then I might have ebooks of the other ones. Anyway, so I don't have a lot of the Discworlds on my shelf, except for some of the later ones. So anyway, Thud is definitely what I need to get to. But as I said, I think I have 5 left. So I want to get to that. And again, that's funny fantasy, very social commentary with a fantasy twist. It's just funny. Really funny, this whole series. And again, I really just need to finish up the Discworld, which is sad that it's over, but I need to finish. And then I also need to finish the Mackenzie McBride series by Jennifer Ashley. I mean, there's not finished, but there are like 12 or 13 books. I don't remember what I'm at. I think I've read 7. So I have like 5 books left of this. 3 of them are in kind of a prequel setting, which is why I haven't picked them up. So I want to read at least the 3 books that are prequels to the main series, because they take place in this, I think, the 1745 Scotland, while the new ones the regular series takes place in the late 1890s, like around the 1890s at some point. So anyway, I'd really like to get the 3 that are the past timeline, so I can get back to the main timeline that I enjoy the most. But I don't know if I like these. I just haven't read them. So anyway, I have 3. At least I want to read those 3. I would love to read the 2 that come afterwards that I own already. 2, yeah, that I own. So I'd be caught up on the series. But So those are ones I need to read 3, but to be caught up or finished. So we'll see. And then I have the last 4 are the 4 series that I've kind of slated for ones I want to binge this year. And I don't, finish these series because some of these are really, really long. But I want to read read over 5, if closer to 10 of some of these series. Because there's so many. So the first one is the Argano Vampire series by Lindsay Sands. This is book 12. I just need to reread this one. And then I've not read any of the other books in years, or I have not read any of those books on. I've read all the back ones and I've reread those. So this is my last one to reread. And then I have like 20 some books in the series to read, and I own at least 10 of them. I would like to get as many of those done as that I own as I can, and then we'll see. So I'm going to try to pick these up quite often this year. I mean, I really want to get caught up on this series. It's a fun romance, vampire romance. This books are about different couples in each books, but you get glimpses of people that we've met in the past. You get to meet new people, and then later they'll have their book and their love story. And it has the fated mates thing, and they're just funny. Like, I just love them. I mean, it's a fun series. I just need to get back to that. The Dragonkin series by G.A. Akins. So I read a lot of Shelley Launston this year. I've actually read everything that I could from her. This next year, I want to do the G.A. Akin, her other pseudonym. I read this one, Dragon Actually, which is technically 2 stories in one bind up. I believe that's what this one is. Anyway, yeah. So I read this one many years ago, and I just never continued. I just didn't get to it. Anyway, so now I have all the books that are out on my shelf. I think there's 6 or 7, maybe 10. I don't remember. I think there's like at least 7 or 8 I have to read. I don't remember. Point is that I want to read this whole series this year. Then I have read everything by G.A. Akin or Shelley Launston. So these are fantasy romances. So the main characters, one of the main characters usually is a dragon shifter. So I remember really enjoying these. Again, she is funny, hilarious, totally over the top, and they're violent, but they're funny. Anyway, I just really like her writing. So I want to finish so I'm going to hit myself with this book soon. I want to read the Dragonkin series, and if not, finish it, make a lot of progress on that one. Another Lindsay Sands series I would like to try to read this year, and I don't expect to read all of them because I don't know if I can read that many historical romances, is the Highland Bride series. So I think that there's like 10 out, I think, right now. I think I own 10 of them, and I think 11th is coming out in the new year. But these are following, I mean, women who are getting married to Highlanders, I guess. I don't know, I read the first book last year, 2021, I think. And I really enjoyed it. It's kind of like her Argano Vampires. They're funny. They're kind of hilarious. Not quite on the level of J. Akin, but they're just kind of funny. And again, they have a love story and it's historical. So they're just a little different than a lot of the other historicals I read. Like, as I said, like the Jennifer Ashley, which is a little more serious. These ones are funnier. So I would like to get back into these. They're just, I want to read more of these because I've read the first one. So I'd like to read more of that. And I bought all those books this year. So I'd like to catch up on that. And then I would really like to reread what I've read and then continue on and finish the Beyond series by Kit Rocha. I started reading these when they came out just in ebook form many years ago. And this last year, I think for my birthday, I let myself buy. They had a sale and I got the whole series in paperback. And so I have all the books. There are 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. There's 10 main novels, and then there's a lot of short stories and novellas that I need to read as well. I've read the first 5 books and a lot of the novellas in between there, but I didn't get past that. It's just because they took a break for a while, and then I didn't come back to it when they came back to writing it. So I'm hoping to get through these. These are erotic, post-apocalyptic action books following the O'Kanes, who are the kings of, oh, I don't remember what section they are. Oh, I can't remember. It's been so long. They're based around this city called Eden that has all these people who have lots of money and live a very different lifestyle. And then everybody on the fringes in these sections are kind of the down and out kind of people, and they run liquor and in their section, the O'Kanes. And so we're following all of them, and it's very highly sexual, sexy, and lots of stuff going on, different kind of pairings, all different kinds. And then there's a big overarching plot that goes through the whole series. So he said, I really enjoyed this, but I need to reread the first 5 and then continue and finish the series now that I own all of them in paperback. Probably have them all on ebook too, but it's hard for me to pick them up as much as it is. And I just wanted these covers anyway. So those are all the 23 series that I have put as high priorities for 2023. That doesn't mean I'm going to read all these, and it doesn't mean I'll finish all these. But these are all the ones that right now are calling to me. I want to read everything right now. Like, there's just so many books right here. I just want to go and read right now. And I'm in the middle of other books. And but these are the ones I want to do. This is what I want to do for 2023 is still focus so much on my series. I have other things that I've talked about in videos before about some nonfiction classics and some translated works that I also want to work in. I will have one more video about my 23 books in 2023 that I want to read that are mostly standalones. A few are series, but most of them are standalone books that I want to get to as well. And that just gives me a lot of options. So I'm not saying I'm going to read all these books. I never do. My lists are I just enjoy making them. I'm such a list maker. I just enjoy it too much. But they're all my options. And again, I will be putting all the books that I have here as well as the other videos that I've talked about. Those videos are all going out on my TBR bookshelves. They're the ones I look at every day that sit next to my couch so that I will pick those books up. That is the goal. So anyway, are any of these series one of your favorites? Ones I should definitely pick up sooner rather than later? Let me know what I should focus on. Again, there's a few of these that I'm definitely picking up. I'm going to try to pick up The Blade itself, the First Law series. I'm going to probably pick up that one fairly soon because of the book club that's doing that. And then there's just other ones I just want to pick up. I just want to do everything. I'm going to really try to read The Queen of Raiders as well to get back into the 9 realms in January as well. We'll see if I can do that because I really want to get that series done. So, anyway, let me know if there's anything I should focus on, or let me know what your top series are that you're doing, or let me know if you have a video that you're doing this as well, because I'm super interested to see more on everybody else's list. So anyway, I will talk to you guys later. Bye.